All right, so this here video is going to show you how you can use the Gizmos to see a simulation of something rolling down a ramp and to get the Gizmos to make position time, velocity time, and acceleration time graphs for you, which will be very useful. So this is here the class page on Gizmos, and you are going to click inclined plane sliding objects. Launch the Gizmo. And what's important to know is that this simulation is used for a lot of different topics in physics, not just our kinematics. And so we're going to need to make sure that we have the right settings on so that it's actually going to represent what we need to be seeing. So here we have the simulation. Here's that ramp, and there's that block. It gives options of what type of block you can use. Just pick steel, it doesn't really matter. But be sure that you are using a frictionless ramp. We are assuming that it's frictionless now, and we're going to go deeper into what that means later in the class. But for now, assume that it's frictionless. But what's cool is you can change the angle, and you can change how steep that ramp is. Okay. Ignore table, ignore energy. We're just going to look at this graph tab. Okay, so the first graph we're going to look at is going to be distance versus time, position versus time. How far has it traveled versus time? So I'm making sure that we're graphing distance on the y-axis and time on the x-axis. And then when I press play over here, you can see that it's going to show that block accelerating down the ramp, and it's going to create for me a distance versus time graph. I can press reset, change my y-axis from distance to velocity. Now I'm measuring velocity versus time. How fast is it going versus time? And press play again to watch it go through its motion and watch that velocity increase. Finally, if I want to, I can graph acceleration over time. What will the acceleration look like as compared to time? And I can press play. And we can see here this graph of acceleration versus time, this constant acceleration. All right, those are really the only functions of this Gizmos that we're going to use now, but what's also good to note is you can press this camera and it will take a picture of your graph, and you can click that image to copy it and paste it into your lab. So that's pretty useful, but otherwise, don't worry about this table and energy, just focus on this graph, and this should be a good simulation that you can use to generate motion graphs for an object sliding down a ramp.